I'm the husband.
I'm the wife.
And this is The Consequence of Love. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I was talking to them.
Oh.
Hi. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that we appreciate those of you who have been watching and checking us out. And thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are enjoying this stuff, leave a like, share it, comment. Let us know what you like or don't like about our show.
Let us know what you want for us to talk about.
Yeah, maybe there's something that we missed on some of our previous episodes that you have some insight in. Maybe you want to share your story. Let us know. Again, the whole purpose of this show is to normalize communication and to benefit from it for everybody, I guess would be the right way to put it, is we want you to know that it's possible to have a successful relationship with a person, with your sports team, with your coach, with your professor, whomever. Communication is the key to a lot of problems, I think, and is the best way to solve things. And so we're hoping that through this podcast, you can pick up some things to use in your life. I don't know. Or maybe you just like to hear us talk about stuff we don't know.
Yeah, random shit.
Yeah. But yeah, so what are we talking about today, honey?
Today we're talking about relationships and our marriage.
Like relationships in general or our relationship? Not where?
Relationships in general, our past relationships, and then also our marriage.
Oh, okay.
I'll talk about, I guess, previous relationships and how they helped me now, or us. I would say it's just for me, it would be one of those basic like high school relationships. You think you're in love, and obviously for the most part, that's all you know, and you're with them like 24/7 pretty much, and yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Like,
yeah, I mean, and you bringing that up also makes me realize or remember that, yeah, when you're in a relationship at that age, everything seems like so long. Everything seems so dramatic. Everything seems
like forever.
Yeah. I mean, it made me think about when you mentioned how we felt like we were together for so long. We were only together for like a month or two.
Yeah.
But it felt so long. And yeah, it does make me think about, no matter who you can think of, no matter how long that relationship might have been with that person, it could have been a day, but it felt like weeks.
Yeah.
Especially the heartbreak afterwards, whenever you're like, oh my gosh, that person didn't like me or whatnot.
And then like the dramatics that go with it, how like one little thing blew up and you're just like, oh my god, this is the end of it, blah blah blah. And in retrospect, it's just like, that was it. Like, okay.
I have a lot more embarrassing things than I do have anything that I've learned.
For me, it's I guess it'd be embarrassing too, but it's kind of more just like, ugh, like that's annoying now, like, for me, like what I did, but yeah, it's just like all the insecurities and like how you think that's normal. You know what I mean? Cause
well,
you don't
even
know.
like just like texting all the time.
Yeah.
When my kids like, I don't want to text you for more than 5 minutes anymore.
I guess that's what I meant too. Cause like obviously like with my high school boyfriend, like, or one of my high school
relationships.
Yes, thank you.
High school relationships.
It was just like, if I didn't text them back, or if they didn't text me back within 10 minutes, I get so mad,
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You know? And it's just like, that's embarrassing.
I remember like, being in any relationship, again, we're not talking about any relationship specifically, just relationships, but like being in a relationship and you're like, I don't know, maybe this was with you, but just texting that person and then like not texting back. And then you get, hello?
Yeah.
Are you there? Where are you? Are you mad at me? Like things like that. Yeah.
Like,
and
fine, then I won't talk to you.
Yeah. Super interesting. And then also like it, for me, at least I'm not speaking for you, but like it made me also then in my future relationships, because I went through that, thinking that was expected of me. And then I even probably at some points expected that of other people.
Yeah.
Like, well, this person I dated or talked to for a week or whatever, which felt like years when you're in high school. But you were like, or I would be like, okay, well, my previous person I was interested in wanted me to text him 24/7.
Yeah.
And then I'm texting them, and all of a sudden they're not interested in me anymore because I had to talk their ear off, and they didn't want that. They wanted space, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that's how it worked.
Yeah,
That happened to me a lot. Yeah.
So I was like, and even now, like thinking about it, like now that we're married, and like you said, oh, I'll text you all the time, like I love you, but it's just like,
Yeah, I'm
what
busy.
is there to talk about? Like even when you were in Korea, I was just like, how's your day? You know,
Yeah, I
miss
felt
you.
really guilty about that too.
I gotta go take care of Eli now. You
Yeah.
know, sorry.
working.
You know, you're asleep.
Or I'm
Because obviously
about to
different
sleep, yeah.
time zones. Yeah, it's just obviously
Just in
want to
general,
talk
like,
to you.
yeah, when
but
I
it's
was
just like,
working in period, I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, you would text me, and it would take me a while back. I think, yeah, even those expectations probably stayed with me at least for
Mm-hmm.
a while, because I think in the early years of Polk, I felt like I had to text you back when you
Yeah.
texted me. I felt that it was necessary for
I think
our
you might have felt a little
relationship.
guilty though too because you left me home alone.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, that's
not you
definitely
left me,
part
but
of it for
yeah.
sure. But I do think that if I felt that it was necessary in order for you to maintain love with me, or to
Yeah.
keep that going, I suppose. Now that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to change this a little bit into more like just embarrassing things,
Okay,
like in
that's
our
fine.
past.
Yeah,
And
that's
I think
fine
that's
with
kind of
me.
interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, since we're talking about our past and interesting or funny things, right? I can think of my whole life a great embarrassing story. I was very shy, introverted, and not very sociable growing up. Girls were always on my mind. Always on my mind. But I had no idea how to talk to them. None whatsoever. I had friends that were girls. Like, that was easy. I guess because I'm not great at socializing, but when I'm just talking, I suppose it works out, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Okay. And
least for me, yeah.
yeah, and like, so I know I made a bunch of friends like my freshman year in high school. Well, we'll go back a little bit actually. In middle school, I was friends with a lot of the boys, played sports or whatever, and classmates, sometimes they're girls, and I made friends with someone from whatever, And I remember one particularly embarrassing moment for me was that there was this girl that I was really into. She had dated one of my friends, whatever, and then they broke up, and we were friends, and I forget what exactly happened, but somebody ended up making fun of her because they were drama, middle school drama, and they're like, oh, you're gonna date Zach next. And I was like, ooh, yeah.
Hello.
Okay, yeah. But I don't remember how I reacted. Probably immaturely, like, ew, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, I fucked that up. So that was embarrassing. What else? And then that's all I can pretty much remember there. And then high school comes around, still super shy. I remember because, again, big part of me was like I wanted to stand up for people or whatever, protect people. There's this one girl who was like being totally harassed in class. Ended up she liked it, I guess, because maybe I shouldn't say she liked it. I assume because like the next day they were together. Like, dude was totally being completely inappropriate, talking
It's
about
probably
his
one of those like
penis and stuff.
Yeah, one of those things. It's like, oh, if he bullies you, he likes you.
Yeah,
you know what
I mean, I guess we're still that young
Yeah.
too to believe that or to understand to think
yeah,
that
middle
way.
school, you kind of really no idea. Cause like, obviously, I had guy friends, and yeah, same. Obviously, I was only nervous with the people who I had a crush on. And I was like, but everyone else was like, like
Yeah, right.
I
It's
wasn't
just like a whole completely
yeah, I
different
wasn't
thing.
like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I got along with guys better, but it was more just like, yeah, no, I had I think an equal amount of both.
Yeah.
Everything. I
Every
hung out with
time
more
someone
girls.
brought up, "Oh, do you like this girl?" I'd go, "Ew."
Yeah, see.
At 15.
I
and
mean,
shit.
like, I was like, if it was like legit, I had a crush on someone, I'd be like, no, But if it was like, oh, you
Yeah.
like them, I'd be like, bitch, nah. Like,
Yeah, I had
you
no
don't know
idea
if
how
I
to
like
interact at all. Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, so I didn't understand. I think that's part of what confused me of how to like talk to females, because I knew that wasn't right. Just as an example, that dude was like, "Look at my penis, it's huge," and he's like showing the outline of his penis through his pants, and she's like, "Ew, leave me alone." And I think I wanted to tell him to stop, but I weighed 145. I was
are
like
you
5
sure
foot
she
4.
was like, ew, stop? Or she was like, ew,
I don't
no,
know. This was
stop.
10 something years ago. And I wanted to be like, yo, leave her alone. But this dude was like 12 feet tall and like 400 pounds. And I
Yeah.
was this little stick. So I was like, I better not say nothing. And then the next day they're like making out and stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So that was like
She's
my first.
I like your outline.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I had a very clouded view, I suppose, of what female liked in the first place. And then on top of having anxiety and not knowing how to talk to people. Fast forward. I mean, there's probably lots of little instances that I can think of now looking back that maybe that person was interested in me, but I just was too scared. But the most obvious one that I can think of is like fast forward a year or two, sophomore, junior year, something like that. I'm in the science class, and there's this girl who sits next to me. I'm like, she's the most beautiful girl in the world, whatever, right? And I'm listening to music, and she takes the earbud out of one ear, and she listens, and we're like jamming out together. I'm like, oh my god, she's the one.
It's like
It's that thing. It's,
500 Days of Summer thing.
I guess so. I don't
Or
know.
she is. Oh, never mind. I was like, you're
Yeah.
into that
Well, you can
movie.
describe it for them. Yeah.
Well, in the movie, there's a part where they're in the elevator, and then the guy's listening to the Smiths, and you could hear it through the headphones because like listening to it pretty loud. And then Summer comes in, and she's like, "Oh, the Smiths," and then he's like, "Yeah, and she sings the lyrics to them, and she's like, "I love them." And then she walks out, and he's like, I'm in love.
Yeah,
You're
that's exactly
that's
that
it,
would be the best description of
Out
what
one
happened.
song,
Like,
yeah.
and obviously I could be butchering what exactly happened, but I don't quite remember. I just know at one point in time we ended up listening to music every day together. I had my CD player. Those of you who don't know, before there was phones and iPods that held music, you had to get a disc that had like 10 songs on it. Anyways. We would sing class, and we'd always like bob our head to the music. It was always the same. I was like, oh my god, this girl's the one. And then one day one of my friends was like, he came up to me and he's like, do you like this person? I'm like, no. I'm like, ew. And I'm like 15. I don't know. Like, as soon as I said it, I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? Why on earth would I say that?
It's for like embarrassment or like.
Well,
'cause
no,
I
of
remember,
course,
like,
yeah.
when people would be like, yeah, exactly. Oh, you have a crush on them? I'd be like, no, but obviously I did.
Yeah. Well, I totally
Just-
ruined my chances. She
yeah.
was like drawing
Obviously,
me
I guess if you were-
pictures. She was like in love
Yeah.
with me, and I'm like, yeah. I just started wearing tight pants, like it was the days, and I blew it. I think at that point, like she didn't talk to me ever again, and then like maybe even before that too. I think one of her friends like we walked the same route home or something, and he stopped me and he was like, hey. This girl is, she doesn't know she's pretty yet. You should definitely date her. And I'm like, oh, okay. and then that was it. And then, well, I also screwed things up even more. I think there was like a football game for the school. And I'm like, I'm going to go and meet her there because she said she's going and we're going to hang out and I'm going to make my move. I'm thinking like Romeo and Juliet type thing. I'm going to confess my love for this girl and it's going to be perfect. And then I go to the football game, and she's just standing next to a boy, and I'm like, ugh, my heart's broken.
Oh, God.
She cheated on me or whatever, and I'm like distraught. Like, and so I go to my locker with all these drawings that she ever drew for me. I took them on, I shoved them in her locker, and we never talked ever again. I just fucked it up.
Wow. And he calls me dramatic.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. My heart was broken. I was emotional. That's one super embarrassing thing. And then after that is when I kind of opened my eyes to females and like, okay, I got to just talk to girls or something like that. I don't really know exactly how. Another person that I had interest in, I think from this point it like spirals on and I actually start to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
But still haven't had my first kiss. I think I'm 16 at this point, 16, 17 or something like that. And I meet this one girl. The beginning of the conversation. So friend A is talking to friend B, and I say something ridiculous to get her attention or whatever. So I had to stop talking, and she likes that. I said something ridiculous, and then we basically date for one whole day, and that was it.
Wow.
That's
Whole
what-
24 hours.
And I'm like, cool.
Interesting.
And then, but like I said, that started a slew of things. And then I wasn't living at home at this time. At this time, I was living with one of my best friends, and he's dating this girl who's also a friend of mine. And we all decided to go to the beach for some reason. I don't remember how we got there, but anyways, we're there. And then she brings a friend of hers. Again, I'm very shy and I don't know what to do with girls. We're at this beach. I'm wearing jeans. Like I can't get in the water. But she's like, you should take off your pants. I don't mind or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I kind of want to do this, but also, you fucking crazy? Like, no, I'm not going to take my pants off. And I think I just ignored her and, like, ran away or something like that. Like, like this is what I feel like it happened, but I don't recall. And then another day, we're at the park with my friend, which is his girlfriend, and then this girl. And I'm just laying down. All of a sudden, she jumps on top of me and just sticks
Same
her,
girl?
the girl from the beach.
Okay.
Yeah. Just jumps on top of me and sticks her tongue down my throat. And I'm like, literally, this is the face I feel like I made. I was like, Like I was like, oh my god, this is happening. But also, it ended as soon as I can think about
Yeah.
it, and it was over. And I never talked to her again.
Yeah.
Because I ruined it because I didn't do anything. I didn't know how to kiss. I didn't know how to talk or whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
scored. Like,
Oh yeah, almost not a virgin.
yeah. And then, yeah, I don't know. I think those are embarrassing stories. I don't know if you want to keep all this
Yeah.
stuff or whatever.
I think
but
always it's
I
just
think
like
it's just funny.
yeah.
The whole point of it is just that I didn't know anything that I was doing, and these
Yeah.
girls that for whatever reason had interest in me probably was like, this freaking nerd. He doesn't know how to kiss, doesn't know how to
He
do
talks
whatever.
the talk, but can't walk the walk.
I probably did do a lot of talking.
Yeah,
Like
you're
I-
very good at talking. That's why I
yeah.
don't understand what. Well, I was like, I understand, like, where your self confidence was. You know what I mean? Because it's different. Because that's exactly how I felt. I didn't think I was pretty. You know, I thought I was okay.
I think it was less self-confidence and more just confident that I didn't have anything going on.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I felt so confident that I was ugly or whatever that no matter what I said, it wouldn't matter.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. For me,
Like,
I was just
felt-
like, I'm okay, so I'll keep that okay. I don't want to fuck it up. So if any boys liked me, I was like, okay, I got something.
You got something
And
going
then
on. You got
yeah,
something
like obviously
cooking.
later when I got older, I like heard, oh, this person liked you in middle school. And I was like, what? When they knew me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they
Missed out
never
on that
talked to
dick.
me. Yeah, like they never. I didn't even know. Like, okay, you know, but yeah, like I had no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying like I had like 500 people, but I was just like, oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I was just completely clueless. I had no idea how to, I guess, progress past that, I suppose, because maybe I was like, ooh, yeah. I think I was good at storytelling.
Yeah, no,
I think that's more or less what it was. I think I was like painting this picture of what I could be because I wanted to be romantic and I wanted to be good at kissing and doing whatever, but I had no idea how to do those things.
Where did that go?
Yeah, I don't know. It flew away.
You got bored. You're like, okay, I
Yeah.
got this one. That's fine.
I don't know. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that's probably what it was. I think I was just good at telling a story
Yeah.
or painting this picture for the females that I was or they were interested in me that I was like, oh, well, if you pick me, yeah, I have a tiny penis and I'm not handsome and I don't know how to kiss, but I hold your hand.
Hold you out real good, girl.
I'll walk you home real nice.
I'll make that shit not sweaty.
Yeah, like I'm fairly certain that's probably what it was. Now that I think about it, like
I mean, like I said, it makes sense. Obviously, when we started talking, like
That's
you said,
probably
you're
what
just
I
really
got
good with
you with. I was
talking.
just
Yeah,
saying.
it's like I feel like I wasn't a talkative person. Like I don't know. I never really had a lot of self confidence. But
yeah, neither did I.
like I said, but the way you talked, I was like, oh my god, like
I don't even
All
think,
right.
especially with you, I don't think I even like tried to paint anything beautiful initially. I think I was like,
yeah,
yo,
like-
girl, let me slide into that vagina.
No.
Yes.
no.
It wasn't until after we started dating that I was like, let's have kids. Let's talk about our future.
I mean, I don't know.
Because the
maybe.
first day we
Like,
talked, we were making out. I was not like, hey, girl, how beautiful you are. No, I was sitting watching Tenacious D and you were making out with me.
yeah.
There was no conversation. After we started dating, I think that grew for us.
Oh yeah, because after that day, I told you I loved you.
Yeah, but that's what my point is. I wasn't like, hey,
But
girl.
that's where I'm like.
And that's what I'm saying. I think other girls,
That's what I
I was
always
like,
say. Like I agree, but I don't at the same time because for me, it's just like I wasn't really like, oh yeah, get into my pants. I was like
yeah, you were.
turned on by like the fact that like romantic.
I
you
think,
know?
okay, so we're getting back into us now.
Okay.
So I think I think it was more of what I did for you. I walked or I moved, I traveled, cut those other words out. I traveled far to
Mm-hmm.
be with you. And that to you was romantic. The idea that I was doing that for you was romantic. The idea that it was forbidden love was romantic.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then, yes, it grew into more. See, this is logical and just crazy.
Emotional. Yes.
Yeah, because because what I can think of, right? Like for that person, right, friend B who talked a lot, and I convinced that, or I may or may not have convinced this person to leave their boyfriend at the time or whatever. I'm pretty sure I was like, you know, girl, I walk you home every day.
Yeah.
I cuddle with you, whatever. I don't know. That's all I can think of right now. I imagine, who knows what my imagination was back then. But
Yeah.
I'm sure I said things along those lines, painting this picture that I would be better or more romantic. I don't know. Just more time, I guess. And I think I would paint those pictures and then I'd get there. Because once I got there, I had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
It was never like, I'm going to continue being romantic, because we were 17. So walk you home, and that was it.
Yeah.
Walk you home, you know, or whomever home, whatever.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was it. And then that was pretty much the last like embarrassing thing. I think after that I started learning how to communicate, and it was more just, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously we started, both of us probably at this point started dating for real. Z's.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would say I wouldn't have anything really embarrassing. Like obviously, like I said, a lot of cringy stuff.
Well, yeah, then
But
bring up some of those
nothing
cringy
like-
things.
But just like I told you, like in the beginning of this episode, just like the whole texting or things like that. Like you know, expecting them to text me 2 minutes after, or, like
Yeah.
no longer than 2 minutes, I should say. Or like I don't know. I never ate in front of anyone. You know, or
No
any
one? None
boyfriends.
of them?
No. Well,
Well, I guess, yeah,
I
no,
think
that
so.
thing
Yeah,
about you,
I
probably
didn't
haven't
want
done
to
that
eat in
either,
front of
too.
anybody. I was just so shy, or like I don't know. Like I said, self-conscious, shy. I don't want to fuck it up. So like I didn't do anything. I wasn't myself. So I would be like quiet and like I don't know, like just a whole bunch of cringy shit. But
Yeah, and then even thinking about like, I never went on like a date. I think I went on one date, and it was with
people.
everyone else. Was just like, I went to school with you, and I walked you home, and then
Okay, like simple things like that.
yeah,
Okay,
that was
well,
it.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was obviously a little bit more, I guess, out there. I don't know.
When we're like, I just couldn't because I didn't
Yeah.
live in the city, so I commuted there. I was dropped off at that school, and then after that school, I went to my grandma's house, or if I did go hang out with
I guess
a
that kind of
friend
makes
or
sense
a
because like
girl,
always
and
like I
then
said, we would like we live with my
yeah,
grandparents.
you lived
so
in that area.
I would get
didn't-
my mom would drop us off for
Yeah,
you
at
know,
5
whatever.
o'clock I had to go home. More like 4
Yeah.
o'clock or whatever. So yeah, 5 o'clock. So I'd have 2 hours. I'd have 2 hours after school to hang out with whomever, and then I had to go home.
Yeah.
I had to go home. I
Yeah, it
lived
was like
15, 20
for,
miles
like,
away.
for us, like obviously I knew we were. I don't know. Mom kind of let us just not like say do whatever we want, but like on the weekends, as long as we didn't have school, homework was done, kind of thing,
Mhm.
and go out. But you know, I would have dates. I think there was only a couple times like it was just me and like the boyfriend at the time, or you know what I mean, or whatever. Nothing like crazy, like.
Well, like what? I mean, all this stuff. Like I've never done any of that stuff.
Oh, that's
and then
why I
how
meant-
was
that's
it,
what I
right?
meant, like-
And then also like how was it? So, your first date with somebody, where'd you guys go? Did you go to a movies?
Yeah,
Did you?
just movie every time it was just the movies. I believe, like I said, I don't remember a lot, but things I do remember, like it was the movies, and like I always wanted like my friends to come with us because I was like I can't talk. You
Yeah.
know, I was just like.
I mean, I feel like
what
movies
do
would be
I
the great place to
do?
go because you don't
Yeah.
have to talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just sat there and watch a movie, or like walk around that part of the city. you know
But
what
you
I
were
mean?
still that nervous that you couldn't.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't. Like, I couldn't even drink anything in front of them. I'd get a Monster, and like be like, "Oh God, like I can't even finish this." You know? I was like, "But I paid like $5 for it." You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, just little things that I was just like, "Why?" You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I just felt like whatever, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I don't know, because even like the friends I did have that turn into like boyfriends or hookups or whatever, like I'd be fine with them. I'd be talking to them like this, joking around,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden like we liked each other, or whatever, and then I'd be like,
And then you would change.
yeah, I'd be like, okay, you know, so that's like I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy. But
Since we're kind of talking already
Mhm.
about our high school year, like, I don't think we've talked about this. So, who were you in high school?
who was I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
That's
like, what would you classify yourself as, or like, I don't know. I don't know if that's interesting at all, even to talk about. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
a subject.
for me
that kinda ties
personally,
in.
I would feel I was like a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just who I was. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
had a certain group of friends, and
What did you guys all bond over?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, we all had different tastes in music. We all had different styles. like, I don't know, just the closeness or whatever we talked about. Because for a while, I was obviously friends with just people for forever. Like, there's this one person I literally like lived at her house all summer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's my best friend. You know, and like even now I can call her and you know what I mean, talk to her, and then it would change because she would have her friends and she would like different music, and then I'd go to my other friend who liked the same music I did, or just had similarities or at the time, you know what I mean? So it would like change. Like, well, obviously we'd still be friends.
Throughout
like,
the year or whatever.
Yeah. So it was just weird. But yeah, no, we just, I don't know why we all stayed together. We just hung at, like, it started middle school. We all hung out by like the lunch area where you put in your code and they give you your food. Once they closed those, we just hung in those areas. And that was it. But none of us ate, I don't think. You know what I mean? So we just sat, like hung out there. And same thing when we went to high school. We all went and we sat at this one bench. It was our bench. You know? And that was it. And then obviously people would be like, I'd have like friends in different classes and stuff. But I honestly don't know how anyone else knew me. That's why I didn't know I'm a nobody. I'm just me. Like,
that's interesting. The way you would describe it is probably pretty similar to how I described it. That'd be like up until like probably my junior year. Shout out to Nico. You ever see this one day, man? Yeah, we were. So for me, I would agree that I definitely felt like I was a nobody. I felt like I didn't quite belong. However, I got along with everybody. Yeah. So like in middle school is where I'd say it would start, because for me that was a big transition in my life, because I was going to a private Catholic Christian school, and where the class size was like 5 people to a teacher or 10 people to a teacher. And then I went to a middle school, and I'll never forget the teacher. She was like, "Oh, where are you coming from?" And I was like, "Oh, I came from the school." She's like, "Oh, how big was the class?" I was like, "Oh, like 10 people." And she's like, "Ha ha ha," like laughed in my face, and she was like, not
so you actually had like one of those like movie introductions, like, "Hi class."
No. I think, for not that I recall. Okay. It's possible. I just remember the teacher laughing at me, or maybe not at me, but just laughing at the fact that
there's
school,
so little kids.
Yeah, had 10 people per teacher at the most, and she had like 30 or 40 kids or something like that, and she's like, "I have this many."
She's like, "Welcome to public school, bitch."
Kind of. That's kind of what it felt like, and I was like, okay, like, sorry, I don't know. But I don't know how long it took. I would say I made friends relatively quickly. I like sports, and so like recess and lunch, all we did was play basketball with some friends, and I met some people there, and some of those people ended up going to my high school. And one of those was my friend Nico, and we were really close, really fast. We were both like, we had traits that would place us in like a different group in school, but we hung out together and with a bunch of other misfits. He was like, I would say, in my opinion, I would say like a superstar athlete. He was like really good at football and like really good at playing quarterback and stuff like that. I don't remember if I'm pretty sure he played for the high school team, but he hung out with me and he hung out with our friends or whatever. And I was like the pre-stoner, you know, emo rock kid, whatever, at the school, alt kids, whatever. I don't know what you'd call it. But I hang out with him, and every day I think middle school, the end of middle school, maybe freshman year, like every day after school, go to his house. And we used to live he used to live like a block or two away from my grandmother's house, so it just worked out. So I'd hang out with him, we'd play football all day after school, and then we would play video games, whatever, and then go to school the next day and then do it over again. We did that for several years. But yeah, it was me, him. I remember this really tall guy who was a really nice guy. I couldn't even, like, I remember what his name, but I just don't remember I don't know how to describe him. But yeah, we were just a bunch of misfits, and we all got along really well. We were all into different stuff, all into different music. We had a few things that tied us together. But when I think about it, the only like strong connection I had was with Nico, because me and him loved sports. And like we ran that PE field. Like they used to think we were cheating all the time. We were so good. And I remember the change for me was like my sophomore, junior year, I started listening to other music. And I feel bad because at one point in my life, me and Nico listened to about the same, like, you know, K-rock, like alternative music, whatever, but whatever. And I remember always saying, like, oh, I don't understand those people who listen to the screaming music where they can't hear what they're saying. And then like a month later, I'm listening to
Yeah.
Under Oath and like all these other post-hardcore bands and stuff like that. And he's like, I thought you didn't like that music. And I was like,
It speaks to me.
I don't know. Yeah. And then we stopped hanging out because I started hanging out with a different group.
Yeah.
We still talked
I
every
guess-
now and then, but yeah, like we kind
Yeah.
of just drifted and got different. But that's interesting. Like because you were saying that you felt like nobody. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like nobody all my life. I think that partially contributes to self-confidence and then our depression and stuff like that. But
Yeah, like-
that
Yeah, like I said in middle school, like I said, there's obviously thinking about that too. Like, I had, that hangout by that lunch line,
Yeah.
and then for a while, I just got really into music, and then I kind of hung out for somewhere else for a little bit.
yeah, that's
And then
exactly.
I came back though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's exactly why I didn't go back.
that was my
Mainly because I
my
went to a
little
different
punk
school
phase or
afterwards.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like
yeah.
that's exactly what happened to me. Like I got into music. I think that's. I wonder if that probably is along the lines why I left or no longer living with my parents.
Yeah.
And then
The
I
rebel.
hung out with Julian a lot, and then him and Armin introduced me to a lot of different music.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wow, there's more than just K Rock or
Mhm.
the Disney Channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Like, yeah. 'Cause like I said, I don't know. They're about the same. Like that's.
Yeah.
I think like the most time in my life I gave my mom trouble.
Yeah.
And it was because like I tightened my pants she just bought kind of thing, or
Yeah.
like my jacket, my vest, whatever. And she was like, they're gonna look at you and think you're, a punk, or you're a
You're like,
bad
"Yeah,
kid, and you're not
I
a
am
bad
punk,
kid."
Mom.
And I was just like, no one's gonna think that. Like, what are you talking about? It's just how I want to dress. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay. And I remember one time I did sleep over at a friend's house, and then she's like, "Do you want to cut your hair?" And I was like, "Sure." Like, why not? Like, for me, like, my hair's not a huge thing for me. I can cut it off right
Yeah,
now.
it'll grow back.
Exactly. And then I cut it, and I loved it. Or she cut it, and I was just like, I love it. I love it so much. And it's just like just choppy. It was just like the Cinco, whatever, like a
Yeah.
wannabe Cinco, whatever. And I came home, and my family was having a barbecue. And I walked out. My mom, her face, she was so pissed. And then my older sister was like, "Oh shit!" That's just like. And then my grandma, she's like, "Oh, you look so cute." My mom was like, "Yeah, you look cute." Like she wanted to beat my ass, but she didn't.
Yeah.
She was so mad because I called her like a couple hours before. I was like, "Hey mom, can I cut my hair?" And she's like, "No, don't think about it. No."
Yeah.
And I was like, just do it. I told her just do it, And I did it, came home, and like I said, that was the first time I like rebelled, and that was it. But yeah, that was, like I said, that's when I kind of not steered away, but I was becoming my own person. I not necessarily stopped listening to my older sister stuff, but I kind of just
Yeah,
had
just
my
started
own
growing,
personality.
yeah.
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 But yeah, obviously I did a lot of stuff. That's when like one of the first times I smoked pot. Obviously I wasn't ready until I was ready. And
When
a
you
lot
got
of
your
people,
haircut, is when you smoked pot.
yeah, after that, I think I want to say weeks after that, because I remember before that people were like, "Oh, do it," and I was like, "No, like I'm good." That's one of the things like I didn't mind, because I really wasn't peer pressure into that stuff. They're like, "Oh, you're boring." Then I was like, "I'm fine that I'm boring. I'm gonna stand over here. I don't want to do it," And they're like, "Nah, we're just kidding. Like you're cool." I was like, "I don't care if I'm cool. Like I'm fine,"
Yeah.
And then finally I did. I was like, "Fuck, I'm just gonna try it," And I smoked pot, whatever. And I was just like, "Whoa, I don't like this." Yeah. But yeah, and obviously I drank too, and this is all 8th grade.
Yeah, I don't think I
was-
did it until either my freshman or sophomore year. Dang, I don't even. Was it maybe later? I don't know when I did it. As a matter of fact, maybe my junior year, maybe when I don't know. I would like to say it was pretty early on, because it was with this kid who got like straight A's, but he didn't. He looked like a skater kid, like and he like defied all of the stereotypes for that time or whatever. But thought he was like an airhead. Like think of Spinelli from. I think it's think of Spicoli from Fast Times, right? That was him, like long hair, talk like that, dude. Something like, I don't know. I'm probably butchering it of how he actually sounded, but
Yeah.
he was a nice guy. I don't recall how it happened. I just remember going with him to the park, and then we smoked some weed, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just felt really heavy. I was like, I gotta walk home now. I just
I
remember
was
the
like,
walk being like,
Yeah, for me, I was like,
felt
I had too much anxiety to like feel what I was feeling. I had The one that makes you like super active, whatever the fuck.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I was like, oh my god, I'm thinking too much. Oh my god. And I was just like, I hear my
Yeah,
mom.
paranoia.
I hear my mom. Yeah. I was like, I'm in trouble. You know. Just like, But on the outside, I was just like, you know, but my head was like going like 500 miles an hour compared to like the regular like 100. And I was just like, when's this gonna stop? You know? No, never stop. Well, it stopped, but and then but yeah, no, I would, yeah, that's crazy. I started 8th grade and my mom never knew. I remember one time Carla saw me drunk in the movie theaters
And 8th grade.
Yeah, she picked me up and then she gave me some bread to sober me up and she put me in the trunk with my friend at the time, and she brought me home and she talked to my mom.
Does your mom know this now?
Yeah, she talked to my mom because she had to bring me home.
Yeah.
I was supposed to sleep over at my friend's house, but Carla
See,
was
this is
just
stuff we should have
upset.
brought up earlier. Yeah.
Sorry, I just forgot. I just remembered it now, but it's just like Carla was like, okay, mom, like I have to tell you something, and because she told me, she's like, Alexis, when you go inside, just go straight to the room, go straight to bed. I was like, okay. So I remember just walking in the house being, I was drunk, trying not to like tipsy, whatever. So I walked, and I just remember her being like, mom, you know, I found her, I brought her home, and after that, I don't remember anything. But yeah, she caught me at the court because I remember walking around the court and being like drunk, and I was just like, oh god, like get me out of here. You know, it's like there's too many people. I'm gonna see someone I know, and I saw one, like a couple of my sister's older friends were like, fuck, you know. And
You were at
like,
a party or something? Or what?
no, at just the movie theaters. That's where everyone hang out. That's the movie theater.
And someone just brought alcohol or beer or
No,
something?
like we would hey mister it.
Okay.
So that's how
so
I
you
got
actively
drunk.
suck it out. Okay, well, you
Yes.
didn't preface
Oh,
that.
sorry,
So
yeah,
you were
okay,
just
so-
drunk. I thought maybe.
Yeah,
okay.
so no, yeah, we would, hey mister it, sit behind like the liquor store a couple blocks from it, and it looked like an abandoned parking lot.
Now be honest, were you like, hey, mister, I'll show you my titties if you get me?
No, we had
Okay.
money. I was not that confident to do that. No. But yeah, I was like, I wish I did. I would have saved a lot of money. But yeah, no, like, yeah, and obviously we were like, oh yeah, let's walk down here. I forgot why they wanted to walk down there, but I was like, yeah, sure, I'm not going to be by myself. Like, this is how people get raped. Like,
Yeah.
no. So we're walking down there, and then I heard say, hey, you're Carla's sister, huh? And I was like, yeah. And I walked away, and I knew who it was, and I was just like, oh shit. And like, I don't know if they called her or my sister just showed up. She just got her license, so she was driving, and then she went up there and I heard, Alexis! And I was like,
But how does she know? Just because
just the way
everyone
I
else was there
dressed.
drinking?
Yeah, and one of her friends was like, your sister's over there, dude. Like,
Behind the dumpster, drinking
no, I was like just walking down the
40s.
thing. But yeah, no, they're like, yeah, your sister's like pretty wasted or something like that. Like, I always have to get her input, but like, this is how I remember
Yeah.
it. And as soon as I saw one of her friends, I was like, oh, my sister's coming. I was just like, we have to go.
Run,
And
yeah.
then like obviously everyone was drunk, so they weren't like paying attention, you know. And I was like, I gotta go. Yeah, but no, she took care of me. She took me home.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So
Yeah, I didn't start doing any of that stuff until some point in high school, and I can't even tell you when. I know that I started drinking like probably junior year, but I was always responsible. I have thrown up. I'm not saying I never got drunk where I didn't
Yeah.
throw up, but like whenever we drank, we always drank somewhere safe. Drink at a friend's house. A few times we drank at the park, but I mean that's relatively safe. Like, just gonna
Yeah, I
pass
guess
out
so.
at the park and that's it. Like, you know. But yeah, no, I don't remember any of that stuff. I want to tell you about this story. I don't know if you want to leave this in or not. But the same guy, the first guy who got me high, straight A student, right? Another time he invited me over to his house to go smoke. So we smoked. And then he reaches under his bed and he pulls out a sock. And inside the sock is a crack pipe. And he's like, yo, you want to hit this? And I'm like, no, not at all.
no,
Not
crack
even
is
a,
whack.
not even a little bit. And I'm sorry if you do leave this in. I'm not making fun of you. It was traumatic for me, and I'm just making light of the story. And so he pulls this out, and I'm like, no, dude, like I don't want to do this, and you shouldn't do this either.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're right, and he stomps on it, and then he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
At least that's my recollection.
Yeah.
And I just say that because I think the overall arc of that is interesting
Yeah.
and funny. But then I was like, I gotta go. Time for me to leave. I can't hang out with you no more. But
Yeah.
that was interesting. But he was like a really smart guy, like the smartest person I knew. And that also reinforced me because, when you're going to people tell you, smoking weed can make you dumb or whatever. And I was like, nope, if that guy can get straight A's,
Yeah.
and obviously it doesn't make you dumb.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure I showed my best friends weed. I showed
really?
Julian and Armin weed, I think. I couldn't even tell you. I know that there was lots of times I remember that I enjoyed very much was getting high because the walk home was so boring. So being high and walking home was great. I remember one time, and it might have been that very first time, but one time I got high and then I met Armin at a Starbucks and he was with his girlfriend. And I don't remember leaving the park. I gotta go. I was gonna go hang out with Armin. My mom would pick me up from there, or whatever. So got high, started walking, and I just remember glimpses of my walk on the sidewalk, cars passing by, and then I'm at a different part of my walking, and then I remember there's Starbucks. Oh, it's hot outside.
Really? Yeah.
Get inside, and I'm like, okay.
That's how I feel like every time
I'm like,
high,
hey, Armin, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
I need water. It's hot as fuck outside. And then I talked to him and his girlfriend, whatever, and then don't know how long we were there, and then I don't know if he knew I was high or what. Maybe we were just chilling, and then we decided to walk back to his house so my mom could pick me up and we can hang out, whatever. Again, don't remember really leaving Starbucks, but I remember walking on the way to his house and picking up pine cones, pre-pine cones, little spiky balls on the tree, and just throwing them at cars. And then I was like, I remember. I don't know if he thought it was funny too, or if he was like, bro, stop.
Yeah.
And then I remember my mom, I don't quite remember, but my mom came, picked me up when it was time to pick me up, and went home, and I went straight to bed, and I woke up the next morning. I was just done. I was toasted.
Do you think she had any idea?
I think I talked to her in the years past, and I think she said she had an idea. One time that was really bad. Julian, at least me and Julian were super fucking baked. And my mom picks us up. I was always the go-to guy. If we're drunk or smoking weed, the mom or dad calls from anybody, Zach, talk to him.
Okay.
And I'd be like, okay. I'm like, hello, Mr. Villanueva.
Yeah.
Hello, Mrs. Cardenas. Yeah. What are we doing? Oh, we're just at the mall, walking around, doing some window shopping, or something like that. And then, okay, yeah, we'll be home in about 30 minutes. We're gonna be walking back. Okay, cool. Sounds great. Bye.
Yeah.
And then I look over, what did I say? I don't remember what I said. And they're like, I don't know what to do, but I think it worked. We're like, cool, let's go home. I just dumb stuff like that. I remember it was always an adventure. What was it? Yeah, just great times.
Yeah,
just great times. But yeah, always being responsible. I know that also too when we would drink. I think you're cool with this stuff, but Julian was the mastermind. We would walk into a CVS, and Julian somehow would walk out with a mini keg under his shirt, and no one would say a thing.
Yeah,
super obvious.
Same, one of my friends too. The same person I would get drunk with or got high for the first time. I remember going into a CVS, Walmart, whatever, and then I was always a good kid. I never really did anything bad that I'd know of. You know what I mean? Yeah. When she walked in, she was like, "Just watch out." I was like, "For what?" No, I was just like.
Why is that the term? That's what I remember saying.
Yeah, and I was just like, for watch out,
watch out for
someone's
what?
coming.
Yeah,
I was like, what? And then she would get we'd call them triple C's, but it was just a heart flu medication, something like that. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Julian,
and she would open it and just take the things out, but leave the boxes there.
Yeah,
and I was just like, what are we doing? I was like, oh my god,
Did you ever do triple C's?
Like this. No, fuck no, that scared me. That scared me, and one time I was offered ecstasy too, and I was like, I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's gonna do, but no thanks. I heard it's really good. No thanks. Yeah, but yeah, no, I didn't want to go. I don't know. I was always afraid. I never wanted to disappoint my mother or my grandparents.
I just knew that a lot of those things, that one bad trip could mean the end for your brain.
Yes.
Maybe not death, but just you would just be jello.
Yeah. So that's how I felt. I was just and at the time, I was twitching, but I don't know why.
Oh, okay,
so I didn't know I had epilepsy, but I know something not necessarily was wrong, but I was just I was just something, I can't put on my makeup,
Yeah.
So I would get ready for school and be like, oh fuck, But yeah, no, like I said, I was not into that stuff, and she would do it, and I would just see heard people's, or even like someone else who did it, they get so big, and I was like, that's not normal. That's not normal, you know. But yeah, no, I just like, yeah, that's like I said, my first experience with shoplifting. And I was just like, okay, I watched out. I'm gonna go buy a soda. So damn, that's not obvious. So I'd go buy a soda or something. I'd be like, oh god,
that's pretty smart. Yeah, we never thought about it and stuff like that. I just don't know how he did it. He just would do it.
And you guys are like all skinny kids too, right? You guys weren't like chubby or
there's no way. Like, and we all wore tight shirts, tight pants. So like, I don't know how he got it. I want to ask him, maybe he remembers. But we would get the alcohol, and then we would go to someone's house and drink and have a good time. There was one time I stole a bottle of Malibu rum. I just think I was so slick. Like, I put it in my backpack. Or maybe Julian put it in my bag. It went in my backpack.
Either way, you walked out.
I'm walking out the door, and some dude's like, hey. And I stop, and I turn around, and it's one of the people who works there. He's like, what's in your backpack? And I was like, my stuff. And he's like, let me see. I'm like, no. And he's like, why not? I was like, because you're going to steal my stuff? He's like, why would I steal your stuff? I don't know. Why do you want to see in my bag? And he's like, you stole something. I was like, no. And then like I just kept walking or whatever, and I left. I was like so afraid for my life. I was like, oh my God, you're going to get me. Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's the stories of our youth. That's pretty much all I can think about for today's episode. Yeah. That's pretty much all I've got to say about that.
Well, yeah, that's it for now.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys checking out the show. Again, it would mean the world to us if you clicked like.
Leave a comment.
Subscribed.
Oh.
Listen to our podcast on Spotify. Maybe left a review.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us how we're doing.
Tell us what you want to hear. You know?
Maybe say hi. Do you know me? Hi. Do you know her?
Probably not.
Say hi. Yeah, we'll see you guys next Thursday.
On another podcast. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye.
Bye.